What's good? What's good? What's good? Yeah, man. I know. I'm late. I'm late. Let me explain. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is me giving y'all an apology, but not really giving y'all one because I don't have to. I'm giving y'all an apology, but I'm not giving you an apology. Be clear before we get started. And maybe y'all went through this, maybe y'all haven't, right? So this is quiet as kept. I want y'all to look at the time when you see this and see how long the video been out, whatever. Just see, you'll get so you can get the joke. This video was supposed to come out at midnight Eastern time, or midnight Detroit time. That's the easy way to think about it. Now, what happened was, on my way back from a little dispo spot or whatever, right? Make a little drop off real quick. Whoop. You know how you around people, you do stuff that you normally don't do. But this motherfucker, see, I'm trying to get my homegirl gave me edible square. Now, it had jacked up instructions because it said one square is supposed to be like 4 servings. I don't know why you didn't just break it in the sections then. But it was a big square, pause, good size square. So, she like, bet you won't eat the whole thing. I wasn't really thinking about it. I'm like, it's just one square. So I eat the whole thing, bro. Eat the whole thing. I've been sitting here stuck this entire time trying to make this video. Like, I had broke down the weed, so we could smoke. Like it again, before I go too far. Appreciate you pulling up the smoke with me. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure I say that. I'll get that out the way. Now, I say that to say this. Like, I've really been sitting in this exact seat you see me in right now for like hours doing nothing. Just letting random videos on YouTube go by. I didn't eat a snack, my little midday snackaroo or whatever. I didn't eat that. So it was like you eat edibles and then I ate less food than normal. So I was saying, my bad. Anyway. Welcome to Kush Equilibrium. I am your always smoking host. You dig? Oops, great. Yeah. I called myself being fair about this video. So, before we light up, let me tell you the best way to look at this video, the best way to take it. I want you to take it the right way. I'm watching how people react to hip hop as a whole, especially on the Kendrick Lamar side, and it's giving me the thought of we done forgot where this thing came from. So, if I make the thumbnail what I think it's gonna be, we at a moment where we need to humble ourselves a little bit when it comes to looking at hip hop as a whole. And I got a perfect reaction as to why that'd be the case. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna steer you wrong. We know we smoking. I ain't gonna lie. We all spend too much money on this good kush that we be smoking on, right? To be lying to one another. We friends. Once you sit here and smoke with me, we friends. That's how I'm taking it. That's why I know you hit subscribe. Because we friends. You sit and smoke with anybody? I'm saying. Like, who does that? You know what I'm saying? So, let me get the ears. I got this incense right here, right? I like the way it smells. it got hippie store vibes. You know what I'm saying? Everybody head shop or whatever smell a certain way. I got 2 different incense burning. I'm gonna figure out their cheat code or which combination they burn to get that ambiance up in here. I got some stuff that's gonna be up here real soon. Look, as we grow, as we progress, trust me, y'all see me, but I invest back into the show. I invest back into the show to give y'all a better show. So you can tell the homies that, hey, put this on. I'm about to watch it too. You know, so then you can watch, or you can go pull up on the homie. Y'all can smoke together and watch it. Then y'all both can go ahead and hit the likes and all that. You know, look, thinking for y'all. All right, let me get y'all to this video then. Dang, look, I shaved, right? I didn't realize how big my head was. Pause. Hey, it's awkwardly shaped with these headphones. I'm gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to get some bigger head daddies because this is crazy. It is like 2 little, yeah, whatever. All right, let me get this video. All right, this video is from Dregs1. You know what I'm saying? That just recently popped into my it popped into my algorithm about 2 weeks ago. Drop my lighter. Hold on. Okay, here we go. So I've gotten to the point, like I was saying, that we need a subtle reminder of where a lot of this hip hop thing started from. Sometimes you got to look back to know where you headed, and with us in this transition to where we can really get some quality music. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like before that can come, before that can manifest anyway, we need to look back, remember the grit and grind and the efforts that people had to take to get in this, because a lot of times people don't respect the work. So if you smoking, light it up. You drinking, pour it up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what's up. We grown, so let's get to the business. Look, now, I'm not drinking with y'all because I'm trying to shake that. I'm still trying to shake that thing off, man. So I got the Rip It. You know what I'm saying? And it's the great Rip It. It's, you know what? We're gonna have a whole separate conversation about as black people and grape drinks, but that's not for now. Let's get to this.
And Dean's little brother and his cousin decide, well, Dean ain't really, you know, he getting all this money doing other shit. He ain't really fucking with us like that. He's kind of was losing interest in 75 Girls. That's how we started Dangerous Music. We took his formula and started our shit. So I used to go around with a 1 sheet, and it was handwritten, and I was meeting with drug dealers that I knew. I knew a lot of drug dealers, a lot of rich ones. And I was like, look, I could, because I had the formula from what I did with 75 Girls. I was like, I could flip $2,000 just by pressing up some singles and taking the profit and running that shit back. I could do like this if I had $5,000. If you gave me $10,000, I could do the same thing a lot faster. And I had like about 4 options. And I ran into some really good friends of mine who had a lot of money, and it just was too much money over there for them to think about, why would I waste all this time with you? It take me all this time to get a fucking $100,000. I'm gonna get $100,000 in the next 3 days.
Right.
Like, it wasn't really getting it. So I went to some really famous drug dealers in East Oakland, West Oakland, maybe even like 1 or 2 in the city. Maybe so. I can't remember who all we shopped it with, but it was definitely some big boys that we knew, and they had it. And then the guy who I ended up starting Dangerous Music with was Ted Bohannon. And one of my homies, Bird, his name is Bird. Bird was running around with Ted's crew. I knew all these people, but Bird was running with him. And he was like, man, I'll get you a meeting with Ted. Ted might want to do it. So we meet with Ted. And from what I heard after the meeting, which the meeting was probably just leaning up against a car on 99th and Plymouth, but that was the meeting. And they said Ted was like, nah, man, I ain't trying to get off into that shit. And one of the things that was making people not want to do business with me is that we used to be in the streets at a young age. I was like a wild motherfucker. And we used to smoke the crushed up rocks in the weed. They called them Grimmies. And people thought was like, oh, he's smoking Grimmies or something. He probably like a dope fiend. But I never smoked no pipes, and I never.
Yo, bro, what the hell is Grimmies? What's Grimmies? You talking about some rocks with some bud, rocks with a little bud. Hold on, I gotta go back.
Was like,
I ain't never
probably like a dope fiend, but I never. People thought we used to smoke this at a young age. I was like a wild motherfucker. Is that we used to be in the streets at a young age. I was like a wild motherfucker, and we used to smoke the crushed up rocks in the weed. They called them Grimmies, and people thought was like, oh, he.
Hey, you from the West Coast, man. You know what Grimmies is or was back in the day or whatever, man. Let it be known. We don't know nothing about that. I ain't never heard nothing about that, man. I live on the East Coast, so I ain't never heard about that. Like Grimmies? Anybody? You know? I don't know. We put extra stuff in the bud, bro.
He's smoking Grimmies or something. He probably like a dope fiend, but I never smoked no pipes, and I never was like, we smoke a Grimmy and leave it at that. We wasn't like smoking them motherfuckers eight in a row. Like we just smoked one Grimmy, be at a party somewhere, and that was that. You remember Grimmy's PO? So I think I had heard this too. Like when I left Ted, and it was like, oh man, I already be getting high, and they ain't want to invest in me. So I heard that was a thing. But then Ted had a homie named.
Hey, back in the day though, that was some real stuff. Cause he talking about trying to really get on. Is it? I mean, my instant reaction when he tell that part of the story was like, is they being biased? But you got to think about it. From a business standpoint, would you want to invest in something that could potentially be locked away? We got to keep in mind how hard it was in the beginning for cats to get the money to make some of this happen. And trust me, I don't think too many of our greats was funded by KeyBank or a Fifth Third Grant Foundation or something like it. Y'all know what's up. I say that to say this, and we gonna keep rocking with this though. While we like what we getting out of Kendrick, we saw all of that back and forth about being a hypocrite. We need to make sure that we not being hypocrites, because it started in the streets. Whether we want to admit it or not, it started in the streets. Street funded. A lot of cats went to some dark places to get that bread for that recording session, or to buy a specific beat, or it was a one opportunity, so they needed that one fresh motherfucker to get on there and kill it, so they can get a look. You know what I'm saying? Just saying, it take money to get going, especially back then, because it wasn't no internet all like that. You couldn't be posting, just don't throw it on the YouTube or Spotify. Like, you really had to really interact with your customer base. Everything was done in the streets, all the way down to how you got the music to me. Just think about that. You got most of your new music back in the day. The hot stuff, the good stuff, you didn't buy at the record store. You bought it at the liquor store. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Okay, right.
Ollie, we call him Super Side. And Bird told me, said, Ted was like, no, I don't want to do it. And then Ollie started yelling at him, like, you fucking crazy. That's fucking too short. Fucking all that fucking shit. And he was like, all right, fuck it. And he was going to do the $10,000 investment. So it started going really good. We started making a lot of money really fast. I feel like if I had to put a number on it, we never put a number on it. I would say Ted probably spent, and I'm including the way we moved around. He had a fleet of cars. We used to pull out half his cars every day.
That's his Cadillac on the.
That's his cover. Cadillac on that day, on that cover. I bought it from him.
Okay.
That's his car that day. And none of that jewelry is mine either on that day. Right. That's everybody's jewelry. That's another story too. But yeah, I'd say Ted probably spent about 100 grand. He's probably spent about 100 grand out of the kindness of his heart that he believed in the movement, because he saw how when we put out the Freaky Tales single, it made a lot of money really fast. And he was just all in, man. So I say all that to say E40 was doing it his own way. He had an uncle named Charles who knew the game, and him and his brothers, and be legit, they was getting money. However they was getting money, and they was doing it the same way we were doing it, based on the same philosophy. Get you some hood money and invest in yourself. So after that, which is what a lot of people in the Bay don't understand, it's a lot of people that went to 40 and said, how did y'all do that? The early Click albums. It's a lot of people that came to me and said, how did you do that shit? And I'm like, well, you know, and mostly like the people who's coming to me wasn't rappers. The people that came to me was like drug dealers that had money, and they wanted to know, how did you get to that? Like, I'm just giving them the numbers. So it started being a thing where
hey, knowing that little bit of history right there, right? To where the early investors to help some of our pioneers in hip hop get their shot and get going came from drug money. Did that make us all hypocrites? I'm just asking these type of questions because we've been throwing that word around. So I'm saying, if we're gonna throw it around, let's throw it around the right way to where we really start asking some questions. All of us are fans of music in some way, shape, or form in hip hop. It all started with a drug transaction that led to studio time, or a hall being booked for a little concert or something. Big on it, man. We be so quick to throw them labels out there. It don't be no thought before we speak. I say this and I'm high. How the rest of you? What's everybody else's excuse? Think on it, man.
I felt like I had to find a drug dealer to finance my album. Drug dealers started trying to find a rapper to finance. And so you're a rapper, you know, you're looking for your match. It was like, you know, it's a list of drug dealers from the 80s and early 90s that started labels.
Well, in the hood, where else are you going to find that type of startup capital?
It's a bank.
Right? Yeah.
It's a hood bank.
Yeah.
Like, it goes way the fuck back, but it started anew because way back when, gangsters, loan sharks would loan you money and break your leg when you didn't pay it back.
Well, yeah, and the mafia was heavy in the entertainment business too.
Yeah, all the way through. And then fucking but this was different.
Right.
This was crack cocaine.
Right.
And you even have a very well documented piece of work that gives you this story I'm telling in a national way. It's called Planet Rock, and VH1 put it out as a 4-part series, and it literally, when you get to Miami and Houston and New York, Russell Simmons, just everywhere, it's the same fucking story. There was no bank that was gonna finance hip hop.
I got a question. Ask this question. We gonna ponder this question real quick and then get on out of here. And again, I appreciate y'all pulling up smoke with your boy. You know what I'm saying? Why we talk? You know, we just talking. We just talking. You just got off work. You chilling. Whatever. Chick getting on your nerves. Can't find a nigga. Whatever reason you sitting right here, smoking and talking with me. You know. Safe place. It's a safe place. You know? But check this. Is it possible to reenact that way of financing without it having to be necessarily from drug money? Because when you see stories like this, I get it. Some people gonna see the worst of the worst. I saw black finance doing business with black small business. I got a business degree though. I see the money. So is there a way to how does the rapper that potentially could be something find the proper cultivation and financial backing with things the way they are in 2025? Like, do you automatically have to go fasten yourself to the teat of the record labels? And because you hear all these little horror stories of these independent artists trying to make a way. The streaming ain't getting it done because of the numbers funny and whatnot. And I'm saying, if we're going through a reset right now, shouldn't we probably reset the way we do business? Why don't we go back to the old business model? That's going to be hard because you never see technology revert. And technically, I guess what I will be saying is let's lean less on streaming. Would it be absolutely terrible if we have to go back to buying CDs? Or you got to actually, like, I used to like what was the little thing? I'm not an Apple person. I had the Microsoft version. The Zoom, like 500 gigs or whatever. That's where music evolution should have stopped. I feel like maybe it was more controlled. Pay for what I wanted. Or just pay for the membership. Cool, bam. And y'all work out y'all percentage. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just seeing this whole reset that we're all fucking talking about. And we excited for it. Like, this is the first official full year of the reset. Anything can happen, right? We thinking it's about to be some really dope, you know what, this year. My question is, how do we know we about to get this amazing year if the way we cultivate and build talent from the beginning hasn't changed. And it seemed like there was once a model where the artist had the most control. Why not go back to that? Yeah, it's harder work. Guess what? Those who want it do the work. What do you want me to say? Am I necessarily saying go all the way back to, hey, you slanging CDs out the trunk? No. Not that far. Although I love the symbology of it. Personal investments to really get out there in them hot summers, because you knew you needed, every weekend you needed something. Hey, what was in the trunks? Rude. Like, hey, man. Summer was everything, right? Just think about it. I ain't gonna keep ranting. But maybe we need to go back. Let's unevolve a little bit. It's a thought. Sometimes we go too far with stuff. And that's how we got in this boat that we in now. With music being messed up. Going back the old way might provide some discipline for some of these rappers that somehow find they go the easy road because they had proper resources, and their resources was vaster than the talent or that they really possessed. And then there's somebody that's talented as hell but just can't find proper resources. So, we all go back to the other way. I think it's gonna be better. But that's not gonna happen. It's a pipe dream. That's why we smoke while we talk about it, because it's annoying us that it can't go back that way. Just a thought. But I appreciate y'all pulling up the smoke with me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm Oops Great. This is Kush Equilibrium. I'll get at y'all.